Hi, and welcome to the Flute Talk Podcast, where we talk about all things flute, live here on Patreon. What is Patreon? Patreon is a place for fans like you to come and support creators like us. So why not join us over on Patreon and help us continue to make great content? The Flute Talk Podcast is also brought to you by the Flute Center of New York. The Flute Center of New York has the world's largest selection of flutes. If you need to buy a flute or piccolo, the Flute Center of New York has you covered. With our code TFC at checkout, you can try up to 3 to 4 flutes for up to 10 days, have an extended 18-month warranty, and free shipping worldwide. So be sure to go to the website flutes4sale.com. So that's flute4sale.com. flutesforsale.com. Just be sure to use that code TFC for all those perks, and a little bit of that does go our way. Another sponsor as well, ourselves. We have a store. If you haven't noticed yet, we have a store over at store.theflutechannel.com. We have some shirts and posters and things like that over at Teespring. So you can definitely go there and get some merch, posters, whatever you like that we have, it will be there. And you'll probably notice it under our videos. If you're interested, be sure to go to store.theflutechannel.com. That helps us out immensely. So yeah, on with the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Flute Talk Podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Amelie.
How's it going, Amelie?
Good. How are you?
Good. So it's the end of May, one of the long months, and we're going to talk a little bit about can you learn on only learn online? You know, even if you have a teacher that you're just learning solely through Skype or through whatever, or even just learning without a teacher online, and just like to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's possible.
Plus, we'll be answering your questions too live if you're listening to live.
We
please,
answer
live questions. Yeah, we do this one last Sunday of every month.
Yeah. So I think it's totally possible. I've had some students that were self-taught with just online, maybe buying a couple of books, and they were already pretty good. But then with lessons, obviously, you get a little bonus because the thing is we don't see ourselves.
That's right.
And sometimes we do things we don't realize. Like almost every lesson I give, there's a moment where my students like, oh yeah, I'm doing that. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really why the teacher is there. And also to like give guidance on what to practice, how to practice it, all that stuff. But like being the outside eyes is a big thing in in having a teacher. But yeah, you can learn a lot online. And I think with our method, you can learn a lot too, like without a teacher on your own, because it's pretty well done.
Yeah, exactly.
With the sight reading, the rhythm, everything's in there with the videos, but also other books or other means. Like, people can learn a lot on their own. And there's a lot of resources like videos about how to do different things. And
would you have like a methodology that you would give to people to kind of like be sure to kind of like when they find something online that works for them or something, like how to apply it, how to kind of, you know, put it in their practice? Like maybe they watch the video about a specific thing, but they don't even know how to practice first in general. They don't even know how to outline their practice session or anything like that. They don't even know if you need multiple things in a practice session. How would you
yeah, I think we've talked about that before, but like a part part of your practice should be sound exercises and then a little bit of technique exercises.
Right.
Like sound and articulation I would put together, and they're super important because if you don't have a good articulation, you don't have a good sound in a way. You know what I mean? Kind of need both. And then you would have some technical exercises like scales, arpeggios, scale in thirds, stuff like that, you know, like Tafanel and Gobert, those types of exercises. Then a study. Studies are amazingly good to learn the instrument.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of repertoire.
There you go. That's a general outline right there.
Like that, you know.
Yeah.
And if you practice an hour, I would say 10 minutes on sound, 10 minutes on exercises, maybe 15 minutes on a study and the rest on pieces, you know?
And like if you can't find specific things in those types of categories, don't worry. You don't need, that's a good stepping stone to have a good complete session. But like say you only found something for technique, well, just work on technique for now a little bit. And then once you find another thing, add it. Because some people, you know, when you look online, you only find stuff on technique only, and then you're like, oh, I can't find anything on sound right now, but I want to practice.
Yeah,
just
but
practice
if
a little bit
you
on
check
that.
on our channel, you'll find stuff on
Oh,
sound
yeah,
and on technique
for sure,
and on all
for
that.
sure.
And yeah, but like, and there's a lot of stuff on IMSLP as well. Like all Tafanel and Gobert is there.
FluteTunes.com too.
Yeah,
A lot of
we
good
have
stuff
a lot
there.
of good stuff.
And yeah, that's pretty cool.
But like, and also it's okay to not always be super intense with 10 minutes of sound. And like, it's okay if one day you just want to work on your piece for 30 minutes and not do the rest, or you want to start with your study. Just make sure that you do a little bit of everything in general, you know? And another thing that you were saying about how to, you know, let's say you want to improve your high register and you go and you find a video that helps you. Maybe what does help you, try to put it in 1 or 2 words. Put it on a Post-it or whatever.
Yeah.
Put that on your stand.
Yeah.
Because to change a habit, you have to remind yourself constantly.
Totally.
So that's how I did to, let's say I was couching forward too much. So I would say stand straight. I would write it there.
Right.
Every time I would say, oh yeah, straight. Like go back. Because I would always go forward. So like something that's said in a positive, like don't write, don't scouch. Or don't go forward, because you'll see go forward. Like it's not as, try to say it in words that are what you want to do.
Right.
And that's a good way to change a habit, you know, and don't try to change 5 habits at a time. Maybe 1 or 2. And then once you feel like that's more part of yourself now, move to the next one.
For, let's jump to like teachers, like having an actual teacher online versus having a person in real life. Would you, like in person, I mean, would you recommend waiting to have somebody in person, or would you encourage people to also just doing online? Because is there a difference, and what things can't you get out of online that you can get in person?
Okay, well, a couple of things, because like I play the piano, so just 1 second. I need to...
Gazoon. Hi.
Sorry.
It's okay. So I think so. One of our first sneezes in the podcast after years of podcasting.
Very sorry.
It's all good.
So, yeah. So there's things like I play the piano. So when a student is at the end of a piece and there's a piano accompaniment, we usually play it together. You can't play at the same time online. So you kind of lose that. But now with, what is it called? Tom play and all that stuff, you can still get that a little bit. It's not the same experience because you don't have the reaction. Like it's more, you know, it's a recording, but still you get something out of it. There's that. You can't play at the same time either, also on the flute.
Right.
So I can't be like, oh, let's play it together. Follow me. So what I did to just...
to work around that.
The problem is that I record myself. Let's say a student has a problem with... the rhythm in a piece,
right? I'll
record it with the metronome, so the person can see where the beats are and hear the beat. And
I've seen you do that with students.
Yeah, it ended up being more efficient than when we were playing it together with the metronome, because the student has the recording for the whole week.
Yeah, the whole week he has the time to it. Yeah.
Some really people listen to it when they go to work, or you know, and then
I know with private lessons I've had. You know, I never got supplementary material like that from the teacher. It was like you just learned everything at the spot there. You write some stuff in your journal or your practice journal, and then you're done your lesson. So you have to just rely on your memory and things like that. You know, like you're not, you know, that's a pretty good workaround, especially online. But it would be even something cooler to even give to students, even if they were in person. You give them some supplementary material to practice.
In person again, I'll keep that.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I realized is so useful.
Yeah, because you want to help your students get better and better, and if they have material that can reinforce that,
some students it changed so much on their understanding of rhythm in their pieces. Oh, Kent.
Yeah, thanks, Kent, so much. Kent Arimura. I think Kent is also on our Patreon, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah, so awesome of you. Thank you so much. That helps us directly. If you want to use the super chat, if you're listening in the podcast, somebody came on the live show here and gave us a little super chat, and you can do that every last Sunday of the month, and join us if you're listening this via podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really cool. Like, what would be one thing though that you don't necessarily, unless you already mentioned it, that doesn't work through online video sessions?
No, you can't touch people.
You can't touch people, right? You can't like and go in depth with how they're amateur or how they're doing specific things, I guess.
You just have to explain better because you can't touch.
Right.
Because like, let's say sometimes I would take a person's head joint and turn
and
it.
Adjust it, right.
And be like, look, like this.
Yeah.
Now I have to tell the person how to do it.
Right.
Or sometimes I would touch the spine of someone in the middle and be like, push from there.
Sure.
Now I can't touch them. So I'm like, touch yourself here.
Yeah.
You feel that point, right? You know, I just have to go around it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and you like you've had students from all over the place too, which is pretty amazing. So
that's cool.
I know some of them are in the chat, which is awesome as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and how often should people kind of, even if they're just learning online, let's say they don't have a teacher, would you say like, would you give yourself like a check-in time every once a week to kind of like go through everything and make sure and like, you know,
I think that would be so smart.
Yeah.
Like do as if you're your own teacher.
Yeah, your own teacher.
Write
right.
in a book like those are my goals, and then I'm gonna learn this scale, this study, and then
you own
next
up
week
to it. Yeah.
I'll play it and record myself.
Right. Yeah, you can record your
and
phone
then
or whatever.
I'll listen, take notes. Okay, next time I'll work on these things.
That's smart. Yeah.
That can be a good thing. You can go also on the, like we said before, there's a lot of programs that have different. You know, they have like this type of piece for first grade and these scales and these
smart
types
music,
of studies.
Yeah, Smart Music has that, which is really great. It's worth it. We don't use it often, but I've heard it's very linear like that. And even has flute scales, everything like that. And you can hear a real flute playing back.
Like the Conservatory of Toronto has that too.
Yeah, the Royal Canadian Conservatory, or RCM, Conservatory of Music.
Yeah, sorry. And I think on their website, it's all there. So you can be like, okay, this year I'm going to do this year of flute. And, you know, just make things in order like that. You know what I mean? And be like, I'm going to learn a study for every week or every 2 weeks. It depends on the difficulty of the study as well. Yeah. Some of them, it's worth keeping 2-3 weeks. With some students, when they're difficult, I say, first part of the study this week, next week, second part, the week after, the whole study.
Exactly.
This way you can really... It depends if it's easy or difficult. If it depends on a lot of things.
Exactly. So technically, like with our book, that kind of does it right there. For the first week, you practice that for the first week. Then you do a checkup on yourself and like you record yourself, make sure you've done everything to the best of what your ear can tell. Because even the program in the book does get your ear better too. Everything, your book definitely progresses the person's ear, so they're able to analyze a bit better. You also give examples inside the supplementary material in the book, the videos and the audio. Everything's recorded. So if it doesn't sound, you can mix and match. You know, you can listen to that and then listen to your playing and see what's missing.
You can also play with the recording.
That's right. Yeah.
To make sure.
It's true.
Or even sometimes
could record yourself playing with the recording. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just play with the recording. And sometimes I tell students, put the recording and fake play, you know, just do the fingerings.
Yeah.
And then they realize, oh, I'm doing this too fast. Oh, this one I'm doing too slow. And they can adjust.
Oh, we have some questions now. Do you use Zoom? Doug Tessler wants to know. We use Zoom. We use Skype. We also use FaceTime once in a while. So we have those 3 big ones. Sometimes we do Microsoft Teams sometimes. And I know soon you want to integrate like also writing like on the screen and saving the notes. I think what might be good is through Teams, you know, because Teams you can save those notes and then give those notes to your student right away. I just had a flash about that because we were discussing about that earlier this morning.
Yeah, this morning, because sometimes when I explain more theoretical things, like I write and then I write on a paper and I show it to the screen, I think I could get a step further and do it like right, and the student can see it on the screen. So
we use those 3-4 types of things, like, and basically that's what we use, and we've had pretty much no problems with that. Sometimes, like, obviously drops of signal for most people on our side or their side. Like, I always encourage people to either be in the same room where the router is, or if you can have it, if you have a wired connection, that's always the best. Because most people's internet connections now are pretty good to do video, pretty good. without having to worry too much about
You need a good
drops.
light.
And you need good lighting.
Because if there's a lot of shadow,
Oh yeah.
it's tough.
And like web cameras are very, very, very small sensors, so they need a tremendous amount of light, like crazy amounts of light to bring out an image properly exposed. If it's too dark, it doesn't know what to do, and then you get weird blotches, and you also get weird pixelation and downgraded in quality. So, be by a window or have a bunch of lights, blasted up on the top of the ceiling. Ceiling lights are the best, the max as you can, because they bounce up there, and then it diffuses and it makes you look nice and everything, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's always easy for you to see.
And another thing that you can't get online is like, I used to love doing like a big end of year concert and make cakes and, coffee and tea and, we would all be together, and you can't do that. But maybe I'm thinking we could do an online little class concert.
Well, we want to do a master class soon, and also an online class for your students, but maybe both really, one for the students and also one for people who just want to have a master class too. We're going to try to do a summer master class in maybe end of June, maybe around July, to coincide with our book launch, because we're going to launch the second book at the end of June, and that'll be out. And then we might do like a little like a masterclass day, like a day of flute.
That could be cool.
Yeah, like a morning and afternoon session, and for spectators.
Also, sometimes for people who learn by themselves, that could be a cheap way to get some external.
Totally.
It doesn't have to be a piece. It can be like, I want to improve this thing, and we can work on that, and then that could be a very cool way. And when you watch other people learn, you learn so much.
Exactly. We're going to try to leave a link in the community page on the YouTube channel for the link for the newsletter again, so that we can have new people if you want to join in on the newsletter. That's where we announce where we do classes or we do any of those types of things. So keep an eye on that. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe right away, and then that way you get all of our community posts, and then you can sign up for our newsletter for that, because it would be cool to do a flute day.
We just had another.
Odyssey Ascension, thank you so much.
Thank you for the super chat again.
Odyssey Ascension, they're actually looking for a new flute right now. So
she's going with the
Dijao. Yeah, Dijao is a very good brand. It's good. It's going to be very nice. It's going to treat you well. Those things last forever. I remember meeting Mr. Zhao. I forget his full name, or if that's what his name is. I forget. But I met him in New York at the New York convention. He brought his flutes there in a booth and everything, and that was over almost 10, 12 years ago. Very cool flute. Very cool flutes.
They're good flutes.
Yes, they're good flutes, yeah. He comes from a good lane. Yeah, he knows his stuff. Yeah, he knows his stuff. And they make very good bass flutes and alto flutes. Very, very good. So you're not going to go wrong with that.
Maybe get a bass flute from him.
Yeah. Oh, piccolo masterclass. Yeah, Doug. We might do one of each. Maybe we'll see.
Or maybe we just make a flute day and you can play the piccolo, because it's all
totally.
in the same family.
It's all in the same family, yeah.
You can take out your alto flute or your piccolo. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So be sure to sign up for the newsletter, or just be sure to subscribe to us, and you'll have the notifications. And then because we're anticipating a large turnout, because the previous time we exported out for the newsletter, we have over like 200 people that were interested. So it probably will be fast, and it's going to be affordable for everybody, because it's going to be online and all those things. So it's going to be quite fun for everybody and a learning experience. So that'll be cool. And let's see. We'll do a couple more questions, and then we will close out the podcast for this month. Do you play alto flute? Diane is asking. Yes, we have an alto flute. We have a Senkoi alto flute here.
It's a very good alto flute.
Have we done an alto flute video yet? No,
we should.
We should, and that's. Do you have any tips on specific problems, I guess, about the alto flute?
Well, I have a curved head joint, and I've noticed that if I when you play the flute, I don't play always going forward. Sometimes I give it a little twist to the right. You know, I don't know.
Towards out to the flute, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. On the alto, you mean, as well?
But on the alto, when
it's
I
the
want to
opposite
do
direction, yeah,
because it's a curved head.
Yeah, it's curved. Oh my gosh!
So I noticed that when I visualize the air going this way, it's a bit easier. And then also, you have to figure out with the curved head joint how to put things so that it's comfortable and in place, and not moving all around the place. You you have to find where you're gonna put the
the spot.
But everyone finds their own, because we play on the same flute. And you don't put it at all like me.
No. So it's always different.
take some time to find your position and the position of the flute itself,
and the position of the flute.
Where you're gonna put the head joint with the body and the everything.
But and then like we don't have a bass flute yet, but we're gonna look into it soon for a bass flute, which is cool.
That could be very
bass flute,
fun.
and also maybe we'll see. Yeah, that'd be really fun.
We could make a little duo with bass flute and piccolo.
Totally.
It'd be so cool.
Yeah, it'd be so cool. We have like loop pedals and stuff like that, so that could sound really cool with those types of things.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? I'm so glad to talk to you. Burisnu, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I have a left hand index finger pain. Is it possible to have this pain due to playing flute?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And some people put little, bandages or little soft, not bandages, the things for little soft gels where that part on the metal of the flute, and it's like a little cushion for it. Mm-hmm. That can help a lot with that type of pain.
Maybe you're pushing too hard with your left hand towards yourself.
The balance points.
You have to really curve that finger and put the flute on it. Some people put it in front of the flute and then push, and then they get hurt. But if you curve your finger enough and you put the flute on it, then you're fine. Is it how you play?
I do the 3 axes, so like I always.
But do you go like this or like?
I just go like that, like the like you said, like the second, the ladder.
I've had a student who had pain like that, and it's because of where she was putting her finger. He or she, I don't remember. Doesn't matter who it was.
Yeah.
Like we just talked about curving the finger a bit more and putting it under the key.
Right.
It's like, let's just check. Let's make sure I'm saying true.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's almost under the key.
Mm-hmm.
And this way, it shouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
But if it does, like you said, Nicolas, there's gels.
There's gels.
There's also a bebop. I have a student who has that because she has arthritis. And she says it helps.
Yeah, it probably helps with just lifting and making the articulation do a little bit different type of movement because it's still very hard. So
yeah, but it guides her finger.
And it's a guide
and
more than
makes it more stable.
Yeah, it's more of a guide, not a ergonomic comfort thing. It's really just a guide to put it somewhere else.
I think it depends if the pain is like the articulation or if it's like because of the pressure.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a little vein there.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I'm not careful, that vein hurts.
Right.
Like, if you put pressure on it.
Yeah. Brodeur says, he feels like all of his weight is on the index finger. Yeah, you have to distribute the weight evenly. Like there's weight on your lip plate. There's weight on that spot where that finger is, and then your right hand as well.
The thumb.
The thumb is doing a lot of work too.
You have to be able to hold your flute with those 3, and all the moving fingers
have to be
free. And the flute doesn't move; it's steady. So maybe it's not stable. Maybe a thumb port would help to stabilize it, and then you wouldn't have to work so hard with your left hand.
Exactly, and it's like it's a half and half type of thing. I always think of it like that because the flute itself is also very uneven and unstable. It's built unstably, like it rocks because of the weight distribution. So it's a give and take. It's also us learning how to use our hands and our body to hold it, but also going against what the flute is already doing. Like, it's already pulling back because of the weight and all that stuff.
Maybe you need to put the flute a little bit more forward with the rods a little bit more on the top.
Yeah, that's what some people do.
And then bring your head joint in a little bit so that the angle is the same at your mouth. Or a thumb port can stabilize it.
Yeah.
And also put a little bit more weight on that thumb and a little bit less. And also sometimes it's insecurity that, it's going to fall and we over push, You might not need to push as hard as you think. But check where you put that index. Curve it a lot and put it under that key. It should help.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't see your fingers, it's difficult to know exactly. But that should help.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to add one more thing on that is that with the head joint thing, like we're always kind of told that the head joint the mouthpiece should match in line with the keys, with the first C key, like they should be in line. But when
to use
there's like light guides, the drawings, like the logos and stuff, and match them. In retrospect, it doesn't really matter because like you said, with the whole putting the flute a little bit more forward, you move the head joint back now to supplement that. That's okay. Like you have to do whatever works because It's not an ergonomic device, the flute.
I've seen amazing flutists play in opposite ways.
Oh, yeah. Completely opposite. Me too.
Completely opposite. So you have to find what's good with your body and what's comfortable for you. Because I've seen Robert Langevin, he plays really out.
Yeah.
He puts it out a lot.
Sure.
And Alexa still, she puts it in a lot.
Yeah.
Just because they probably have the same position here at the mouthpiece, but
hands
just
are not.
Probably the hands they don't distribute the weight the same way.
They're both different people. Okay. Yeah, totally.
It depends on how, and they're both amazing players.
Yeah, and soon we'll do a whole entire video about all the devices. We bought a couple extra new devices and stuff like that, like the shelf that you have for the thumb port, and also there's another thumb port that expands the hand more.
That's pretty
cool. We got that, which is really I forget what it's called, but I'll make sure to mention that soon.
It goes under the flute.
Under the flute, like old style flutes.
Put it on your flute.
Old flutes, very old flutes used to have that. They used to have a screw underneath that you put a thing, and that's where that idea sort of comes from.
You put it on your flute. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's good. And you can adjust and stuff. It seems pretty cool. It opens up the hand more so you can actually have more freedom in a natural position to play with your fingers.
Oh, yeah. I can see that you can use a little bit more rotation of your arm.
And just feel better. Yeah. Because you can really, it actually liberates the thumb to move freely around like this, like it really is interesting. Cool. So we're going to go more into depth with that one, and also a couple other little tools and stuff. We'll see about that. But yeah.
And there's no problem with using a bebop, a thumb port, any of those things, or a little gel, or it's the comfort and the result in the end, like that you're not hurt and that you sound good.
Yeah, exactly. For people jumping in already in the podcast, be sure to go back in the beginning. We talked a lot about the main topic already, but we'll definitely answer some more of your questions. Excuse me. Diane wants to know, could you possibly do a review on more affordable alto flutes, such as the Trevor James Jupiter flutes? Yeah, we're planning on to. Once the COVID restrictions are a bit more open and lenient to go to the United States, because for bigger flutes, for us to work with the Flute Center, we have to kind of go there and make it a whole type of event and record a bunch in general. But we're going to do a head joint one soon. About head joints, but alto flute is on the menu for affordable alto flutes.
We didn't go in New York for a while. I like going there.
So we like going there and trying flutes and stuff. But you can Trevor James alto flutes. A lot of alto flutes that are being built right now are usually built by very, very reputable makers. So you're never going to go wrong in trying them. I would, again, go to call the Flute Center in New York or email them and use our code TFC. And then you can try 3 alto flutes, for 10 days and see how you feel about them. And, that's worldwide. So you can use that anywhere and they'll send them to you. But yeah, they're all good alto flutes that will last forever, like that will, need regular maintenance and all those things. But we tried, I think, a Trevor James one, or I've tried a Trevor James alto, and they sound great. Very cool flutes for sure. A lot of thank yous. Yeah, thank you for starting. People are starting the flute a couple months ago. That's cool.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. So helpful. I'm glad that we're able to help with that stuff. Just running through all these other questions here. What is the most difficult part of playing the flute and why? That's always a great question. Sky, Megan, we haven't had that in a while.
I think it's the sound.
Sound, yeah. Being able to produce a good sound.
Yeah, and every day.
And control it, and every day consistently. Yeah.
It took me a while. Some days I would have an amazing sound, and the next day I was like, is there something stuck in my flute, for a while?
Yeah, I think it has to do with a lot with the brain and stuff like that. More and more I know about the brain and how we do recall. Having your idea, what is your ideal sound of the flute, and just always matching that and trying to get to that. And, it's cool to listen to other people's sound, but always having that core understanding. It takes a long time to get the brain to understand, like, okay, this is that sound. Oh, this is how you make that sound. And then it burns that permanentness inside your brain. But it takes a long time. And
I think the sound is really
the most important.
Important and difficult thing. But once you understand that stability of the embouchure and good air support, once you have that, it's pretty much that. You blow in a constant way, and then you move your fingers.
Yeah, sound and breathing.
Then you're fine.
Exactly.
It's not that difficult. It just needs time to, like you said, for the body and the mind to kind of match together and, be mindful of what it feels like to get that good sound.
Sure,
Or
sure.
even when you don't get a good sound, what it feels like, so you
Yeah.
can go in the opposite direction.
Exactly. So we're just going to do 2 or 3 more questions, but before that, we're just going to mention all the things that we have going on. We have our Patreon, which we've had a couple new people come in, and that's super helpful because that helps us directly every month. You can go there at patreon.com/theflutechannel, and there you can message us and talk to us and want more one-on-one on little questions and stuff like that. We're also released certain things, like I released a full version of the Deleb flute thing that we did with the Team Recorder over there, that you can go and find and listen to it in its full entirety, which is really cool. And also we give little tidbits of different things there too, so you can go and help us out there. We also have a deal with the Flute Center of New York, and you can go to flutecenter.com or flutesforsale.com and use our code TFC and try up to 10, or up to 10, not 10 flutes, up to 3 to 4 flutes for up to 10 days. And if you do choose to get a flute, you get an extended warranty of 18 months. And what else am I missing there? It's free shipping, I think, as well.
Yeah, and also it helps us out.
And it helps us directly. We get a commission from each one of those sales. And this past year, we've had a lot of people get flutes from there, and all that stuff helps us directly and goes directly to us as well. And we have our book as well over at musigy.com, which is our beginner book of 15 lessons. And then the second book will come out soon. But if you want to try that out,
with time we'll add more and
we're
more.
going to add more
things.
stuff, obviously. Yeah.
Creating things takes time.
But it's been very successful. We've changed a lot of people's lives with that book series. And it comes with videos, and you can get the digital PDF alone with the videos, or you can get the physical book too. And
yeah, we've had a lot of good comeback from the method.
Totally.
I'm very happy about it.
Yeah. And then also
I've thought a lot, and I was wanting to make the thing that, I would want to teach with.
Exactly.
Or that I'm very happy about it.
Totally.
It's like years of doing it, and then how can I make it the most efficient in one book, that you don't have to buy one book for sound, one book for technique, one book for sight reading, everything in one spot, and so that you don't have to you just have to follow. This is the first lesson. Now that you mastered this, go there.
Exactly.
You just have to. It's way easier.
Yeah, and that's musigy.com, musogY.com, and I would argue, not many books around have videos and audio all combined together. A lot of them have CDs. You have to go get it physically, all those things. But this, you can do everything just online, get it all downloaded, and be ready to go.
And the video, what's amazing about it is with a CD, you don't get all the visual.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's so many things with posture and all that.
And even Terry Crews bought the book, so that's always cool, So that's pretty cool. You learn so if you hear him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it was our lessons that made him get
he played
better.
Already, but
I know,
think
but he played more. He's going to play more.
Yeah,
he wants to include it probably in his in acting when they need something comedic like that.
You could call me for lessons too.
That might happen one day. We never know. Never know.
I like to teach everyone anyways.
Exactly. And then also our shirts and stuff like that, and all of our posters. We have our fingering poster for flute fingerings. That's all at store.theflutechannel.com. And people have been buying a lot of merch. A lot of people have been buying the Mozart yoga pants, Mozart flute concerto yoga pants, which is really cool.
I have them. I have to make a video.
Yeah, we'll make a video with you wearing them. Maybe do a music stretch, meditation or something, flute meditation. We'll see. So I think those are all the things. If we missed something, we'll let you know in the next podcast. So, I saw here Creation Cloud wants to know, any plans on making videos on wooden flutes? Well, if you mean wooden flutes, regular concert flutes in wooden style, I would like to soon, eventually. But if you mean bamboo flutes and stuff like that, we have something planned very soon about bamboo flutes, because we have 2 of them here that are made by a very nice maker. Also, we have some very nice tin whistles and stuff like that too.
We also have a traverso.
We also have a traverso too. Something about traverso. Yeah. So, the more you help us, the more time we can have to do that, because it's just it's always fun to do those types of things and share all that information with you. And what else do we got here?
Someone was saying, I have noticed that my sound is much affected by my psychology, stressed, chilled.
Oh, yeah.
And by what I'm thinking or imagining currently, I try to enrich my imagination and calmness to get more of the feeling.
Totally. It's really a brain thing. It's an association with your breathing, your ears, your brain, your hands. It's a real, you're using a lot of senses all at once, and your brain is the central processing unit that is trying to make any sense of all of it, so that you can calmly and, collectively make a good sound. So it's good that you're noticing all those things.
Yeah, because obviously if you're stressed, your heart rate will go up and your breathing will go faster.
Totally.
And then, like, just saying that, breathing and sound, they go together.
Yeah, totally.
So if you're able to
Absolutely.
do some breathing exercises, like I love cardiac coherence. I do it every morning.
Cardiac coherence.
If you go on YouTube, you write cardiac coherence, you'll find exercises. It's like basically you breathe in 5 seconds, you breathe out 5 seconds
Right.
for 5 minutes.
Right.
So you take 6 breaths per minute.
Okay.
4 or 5 minutes.
We have a cardiac coherence video on our thing. I think.
There's even some, ours doesn't
channel.
have that, but some have a little sound.
Yes.
So that you don't have to look at the thing going
ball,
up and down. You breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. And it helps with, because your heart rate is not exactly, let's say you say it's 72 per minute. It's not exactly 72 all the time. There's a lot of differences. If you look at each beat, they're not spaced out exactly. So it does like a big spikes. When you breathe in, your heart rate goes a bit faster. And when you breathe out, it goes a bit slower. And by doing that exercise, it becomes like a more coherent. And it helps with the sympathetic nervous system. Like it puts you more in the calm type of mindset.
Yeah.
So if you start your day like that, it helps out. And then you can do it like they say 3 times a day, like every 4 or 5 hours.
Totally.
To keep yourself in that type of chilled zone. But if you have only once, maybe in the morning is a good way. Like I do that before I get out of bed, and then, it's a good way to start the day. And I think it helps because like the body and the mind, like we tend to like there's the brain and then there's the body. Like the brain is inside the body. Like it goes together. What you eat, how you sleep, how you breathe, it all affects. It's not a separate thing.
Right, exactly. So we'll answer one last question, and I think we'll call it a day. Also, if you want to have lessons online with Amelie, just email us at info@theflutechannel.com. So info@theflutechannel.com. You have a couple openings for the summer, so that's cool because some people they finish early in the year for the summer, and to be able to take a summer break.
I have a little bit more time.
Exactly. So if you're interested in taking a couple lessons, we have some packs for lessons. And we can give you our rates and everything.
Someone's asking about circular breathing. I don't know if you wanted to take one last.
No, it was another question, in fact. Okay. But the circular breathing thing, like if you want to quickly just talk about that. But like, I use circular breathing very rarely.
Me too.
Super rarely. And it's only for like very split seconds kind of finish off a line or something.
My sound is not very consistent with, personally, my sound is not super nice with it. I know how to do it. Like you put air in your cheeks, and while you're pushing the air with your cheeks, you breathe in through your nose. So you go.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to blow right in the.
Yeah. Like it's basically that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of videos. You can start with a straw in a glass of water and make bubbles, and you have to keep the bubbles all the time.
But I would argue like you can breathe and play notes for very, very long stretches in one breath, like long enough than any modern phrase even. Like there's only a couple pieces in the world that extend beyond the reach of our breathing phrasing, like our phrasing.
And usually you can take a breath somewhere.
Yeah, you can take a breath somewhere.
There's a way to do it musically.
Totally.
I wouldn't stress too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't stress too much about it. And it's not a deal breaker to become a professional. You have to have circular breathing at all or anything like that. It's just a cool technique to have. Just like,
but I think it depends on the embouchure because some people get it right away,
and some people have to work on it.
The way my mouth is, like I kind of lose my sound. It sounds weird. I don't know. I don't like it that much.
Right. And so the last question. Hopefully that helped answer your question a little bit, Colt. But the flute girl, she wants to know every time I practice about the first 45 minutes, my pinky finger starts to hurt. Is there anything I can do? So we go from the left
right
hand.
Pinky, I guess.
So I guess so. Yeah. So we go from the left hand problem to the right hand pinky problem. Yeah.
I've seen flutes that had that E flat key that for some reason was super hard.
Yeah. Sometimes.
So if it's very hard, go to a technician.
Yeah.
But what is most likely is that
the tension you mean on it, right?
Yeah. Like it was.
Yeah.
you had to press.
Yeah. The tension,
So
the rod.
that's gonna hurt your pinky.
Yeah, they can adjust that.
Yeah, but it's probably because your flute is not stable, and you're using your pinky as a fulcrum point, but it's not. The pinky is not used to hold the flute. It's a moving finger. Moving fingers don't hold the flute. So we said together before, the mouth, like the chin, the left index finger, and the right thumb hold the flute. That's it. So you have to have all the other fingers not touching the flute and the flute to be stable.
Yeah.
So maybe you need a thumb port. So because it probably rocks and you're using your pinky to hold your flute and you're putting a lot of pressure on that pinky. Some people also, they put the flute right on their thumb and then the flute rolls a lot.
Right.
Instead of putting the thumb
back.
and pushing forward.
Yeah.
We have a couple of videos about holding your flute posture.
Yeah.
You should look at them.
Yeah, they're very helpful to kind of look through those videos a couple times and understand how those things go. Cool. So that's the end of the show. I'm really, really helpful. Really amazing that you all came. And like I said, we do this on the last Sunday of every month. So we'll be doing this at the end of June on the last Sunday. And join us then. Also, watch our videos. We've released a bunch of new videos recently from some music videos, some collaboration with Sarah over at Team Recorder, which is really awesome. Go see her video and then also go see ours. And we're going to have some more videos coming out next couple of weeks. Probably a new video next Thursday or Friday. And that's it. Check out all the stuff that we mentioned in the links in the description. And also, if we forgot anything or if you have a question for us, go to this video at the bottom and leave a comment or leave a question. Both would be great if possible. Also, drop a like on this video. If you drop a like now live, it really helps us out with the visibility of the podcast. And I know this podcast episode is probably going to appeal to a lot of people. So yeah, I hope everybody had a great month. I hope everybody has a great month ahead of practicing and enjoying the wonderful weather, because the wonderful weather is finally kicking into gear. And yeah, so anything else, Emily? No. Cool. Well, I'm Nick.
And I'm Amelie.
So thanks everybody so much. Have a wonderful day. See you.
Have a nice day.